Okay, the session's now being recorded, so I'm going to turn my camera off and Sophie is going to say hello.
Hello. Can everybody hear me? Hopefully that is a yes. My name is Sophie Hill. That's great, thank you. I'm also an Enrolment and Course Advisor here at Flinders in the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work. And welcome. We're really grateful to have you guys here, and hoping we can help you out in some way today. So, you know, I know a lot of you have a lot of specific questions, so please feel free to ask them in the chat. We've got a couple of other enrolment and course advisors here answering the questions. So we've got Saya and Caroline. They'll be answering your questions. If you want to share your questions with everybody, then that's great, because you might have a question that everyone else asked too. Otherwise, if it's a little bit more specific or personal, you're welcome to just share it with the moderators. If we don't get to it today or during the session, if you provide either your student ID or as much detail as you can, such as your birth date, we'll get back to you as soon as we can afterwards. Okay, I just want to start by welcoming you to Flinders Uni, and also start by acknowledging that that we will be studying and working on is the traditional land of the Kaurna people. So I'm hopefully going to be able to share this website with you, which had a little bit of problems last time, but if we go to, let's have a look. Is that sharing?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start by just sharing a student website. So this is just the homepage, and I just want to make sure, just to be clear, we're going to be sending a follow-up email after the session that provides the links to any of these specific websites that we show, just so you can go back and refer to them. They'll be really handy for you to save as favourites. You can probably use them a few times. So if you click on students, this is kind of like your home base, I guess, with lots of important information and links to basically everything you need. So I'll start you here, but what you'll probably find that you've been referred to if you've clicked on a link from your offer would be My Flinders. So you can either use My Flinders, or you can go to this website. And for yourselves, if you're new students, which I presume you all are, we're going to click here on New Students. This will also be providing you information to orientation. So yes, we're going to give you some information more specifically about enrolling, so getting you into the course and into your topics and classes. There will be orientation events happening the week prior to classes starting, and that will be where you have academic staff such as topic coordinators, course coordinators, and they will be presenting more information and more specific things so to do with your particular course rather than a little bit more general. So please make sure you have a look at that. I'm sure the uni's probably sent you out some information about orientation, and if you do get heaps of emails, sorry if there's heaps, try not to just disregard them. Some of them are there because they're pretty important. So make sure you are checking your student email, because that's where we're going to be sending it all to. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is focusing on preparing to study and getting enrolled. So within your letter of offer, if that's what you received through SATAC, or if you got an email from Flinders, you usually get, as I said before, a link to My Flinders. But we're going to go through this new student website because it's a lot easier to get access to. Now, what we're going to do is clicking on enrolment, because that's what we're talking about today. Now, apologies, I can't see any of your questions that are popping up, but behind the scenes we do have Jackie, Caroline and Saya answering your questions, so keep going. Feel free to chat as much as you like. We'll have a couple more polls in a moment during the session, just to find out what specifically you're most wanting to know about. So this is going to step you through each stage of the enrolment process. So thinking some of you probably have gotten already to this point and are all set. But for those of you who haven't, this is a really good way to start. And we've also got this really fantastic library of videos. It's a YouTube library, and it has a little tutorial basically of everything that you need, almost everything you need to enroll. So how to register in classes, down to, you know, I guess different terminology for university and that sort of thing. So it's definitely worth checking out. I know I like to YouTube everything these days. There's always a tutorial. I had to use one yesterday because I didn't know how to hook up my printer, and I found one. Exciting story. So what we're going to do from here is discuss a couple of the things that are quite important. So there is a student ID. Now that's a number that usually starts with 2, and it's, how many digits is that? About 9, 7, 2 something. But then you also have something called a FAN. Now your FAN stands for Flinders Authentication Number. Name? And it will be 4 letters of your surname. So my surname is Hill, so my whole surname is my 4 letters, H-I-L-L, and then 4 digits. And that will be also the start of your email address. So you'll have fan@flinders.edu.au, and you'll also use that to log into a certain number of things. So yeah, student ID, FAN, they're 2 of the important things. Student ID is what we use more to identify you. Now, if you have started the enrolment process, you've probably come across the Flinders Dashboard, which is called something called Octa. Now, if you go to quick links, you'll be able to get to it from here. Oh, it's right at the top, I just missed it. And this is what you'll use to log into the important platforms like your email, and we have something called a student system, and also Flow, which I'll talk about both of them a little bit more in a moment. Actually, I will give you an overview of the student system now. So the student system is where you actually go in and enroll and register in classes. So you'll go in there and be able to pick what course you're in, and then there should be a study plan with all your topics listed that are available to you. When you get in there, just make sure that your personal information is up to date because that's where all that key information is stored. And we have had incidents in the past where we've had the wrong name and the wrong name's been printed on the document, and that's no fun for anybody. So I think all of you have probably accepted your offer from considering that you all have been contacted and are here. But student system is where you'll physically enroll into your topics and register in classes, like I said before. Now, if you do want a tutorial on how to physically enroll, I'm not going to spend too much time on that because you can actually find it in the video tutorial library that I mentioned before. So if we go to so I just realised that my second screen hadn't shared, so you didn't know what I was talking about when I was thinking you could. No, that's fine. So I am just going to share the next one. Keep those questions coming. It's really good to be able to answer them now. We do understand how frustrating it is for some of you who have put in requests for service or support to your queries, and it's been quite a long time, and we apologise. We've got in this university, your college happens to be one of the big cohorts of students, and you know, we're sort of a little team that is here to service you, and we want to be able to provide you the best support possible because we care about what you're doing and we know how significant it is. But when there's such a huge volume, sometimes it takes some time. So we do apologise for anyone that's had to wait a few weeks. We try not to make it a few weeks, but anyone that's had to wait longer than they need to for their answers. But we are getting to them as quick as we possibly can.
Just put yourself on mute now and talk a bit if you want to do something.
Yep. Oh, you'll have to unshare your page while I'm doing it though.
Hey guys, it's Jackie again. Sophie's just going to look for some things on her screen before she tries to share it again to make sure she's got the right stuff. Now, audio back.
Somebody said they didn't have any sound, but hopefully you've got it back now. Yep, excellent. Okay, so starting to see a lot of questions in the chat about particular topics and enrolment and timetables. So just going to give you a little bit of information about that, which is probably out of order with what Sophie was going to talk to you about, but that's okay. So basically, when you are enrolling into your topics, when you look at the topic information page online, you will notice that all of the timetable information is listed there. Now, some of the topics that you might be enrolling in may be online, and some of them will be on campus in Bedford Park, where you'll be studying face-to-face. If you are enrolled in an online topic, that topic will not show up on your timetable. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not enrolled. It just means that the topic doesn't have a timetable because it's entirely online. So you will take that topic in your own time. Now, there may be things that you have to achieve every week in that topic, but there won't be any scheduled lectures that happen at a particular time on a particular day. You will log into the topic on your flow and you'll follow along at a time of day that suits you. So that's why your online topics are not showing up in your timetable. Now, that doesn't mean you're not enrolled. To check if you are actually enrolled in a topic, you need to check your confirmation of enrollment, not your timetable. So the other thing that you may find on your timetable is that you might be enrolled in some topics that are classified as semester 1 topics, and you might be enrolled in some topics that are classified as non-semester 1 topics. So you might see that as an S1 and an NS1. Now, NS1 topics, non-semester 1 topics, are all held in the first half of the year. Non-semester 2 topics are held in the second half of the year. And the reason that they are called non-semester topics is because their timetables go a little bit outside of the normal semester time frame. It might be that they run slightly shorter time or even a little bit of a longer time. And when you look at your timetable, you may find that you see all of your semester topics in one and all of your non-semester topics aren't showing up. You just need to change the view in your timetable so that you can see all of your topics at once. So once again, it doesn't mean that you're not enrolled. You just need to change the view on your timetable to make sure that you're looking at everything at once. There was also a question about timetable clashes. So if you have classes that are held at the same time, now if you have a clash between 2 topics that are both compulsory for you, the best thing is to submit an Ask Flinders request, because we might need to help you individually with that. And it's not something we can really get into on the chat today. That's sometimes a little bit of a complicated issue. So if you've got a clash, then please submit an Ask Flinders request and explain what the clash is between which classes, and we will look into that for you. Just had a question about where it says Bedford Park, but then there might still be an online class. That's true. You might be enrolled in a topic that is considered an internal topic and it's held on Bedford Park, but we may still teach some of the class online. So, for example, you might have an online lecture that you view online through Flow, but you might also have some tutorials or workshops where you attend in person. So it is possible for there to be an online class in a topic which is held on campus. If you've got confusion about that, if you've got a particular topic where you're just not sure what the timetable means, that's something that you can put on Ask Flinders, and one of the enrolment support staff from Flinders Connect should be able to help you with that. Yeah, so keep your questions coming. And Sophie's going to come back on now, and I think she's also got another poll for everybody, so keep an eye out on that one.
Okay, I'm off. Yeah, there you go.
And I'm back. Thank you so much, Jackie. Okay, so I'm going to cover a little bit of what Jackie, not what Jackie said, but similar to what Jackie said. And what that is just to show you a few more important pages on the enrolment website, which is also quite relevant in general. So I will open it now, if I can do it a little bit better than I did it last time. Oh, okay, that looks a little bit crazy. And we are in the matrix. All right, this one should work a little bit better. Okay, so enrolment. What I wanted to talk about just quickly was some critical enrolment dates that are really important for you guys to be aware of. So there's obviously the last day to enrol. That's an important one because you need to get into the topic before it closes off. And you don't want to get into it too late because obviously classes or content would have already started, and the later you start, the more behind you're going to be. Having said that, there is if you have a study planner, if you happen to have been on campus, which I know is very few of you at this stage, or if you found a calendar online that's got the dates, there is a set date for the last day to enrol. However, as Jackie was mentioning, there are some topics that are called non-semester, which means they run a little bit out of the normal semester time, and they might have a different last day to enrol. So just make sure you're checking that on the topic page, which I will show you in a moment. The other important dates to think about are the census date. So the census date is the last day to withdraw. If you withdraw before the census date, you don't incur a fee for the topic, and there's basically no record on your transcript. So it's almost like you weren't ever in the topic. So it's a really handy one to remember. I believe for first semester standard topics, it's about 2nd of April. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's around about there. And then there's also the last day to withdraw without failure. So there is, if you happen to start study and then you find that your load is too great, particularly if you've not studied for a while and you happen to be working, which obviously lots of us need to do, but it can be quite overwhelming. Just remember that there are options and you can withdraw without, like I said, before the census day without incurring any kind of debt and that sort of thing, record on your transcript. So your study load, I'm just going to go into a course, and I might just need to share my page, a different page. Right, you can see that one, I can see that, great. Now I'm going to pick a course, And there are a few of you here from, unless they're from education. Shout out to everyone from education.
Yep.
Everyone from social work, psychology, behavioural science, sport. What was that? Sorry?
So please talk about social work. Social work. Yes.
I think we might have to. Okay, I'm going to start with education, and then the next example I provide will be for social work. And psych, I know, I'm not going to forget about all of you, but it's a little bit tricky. Like I said, just check your orientation website, because there should be some specific sessions that aren't so much about how to enrol and that type of thing, but it'll be a little bit more about your course. So I'm just going to talk about the types of topics that you're probably going to see on your study plan, which I haven't mentioned your study plan yet, but what I'm looking at right now is called a study plan. A course rule. A course rule. And you can get to this one basically from the webpage I was at. If you go to my course and then course rules, and you'll be able to search for it. But like I said, we're going to provide the links to these types of things in a follow-up email, so you'll be able to use that to go and find it afterwards. Now, the course rule is basically sort of like the guidelines and the requirements for your course. So it will have the duration of the degree and what topics you need to take and any other rules that might apply to the course. And so a standard topic here at Flinders is 4.5 units. This can vary. It could be maybe 9 units. Social work, undergrad, you guys have 13.5 unit placements. But a standard full-time load for one semester is 18 units or 4 standard topics. Now, if you want to go part-time, is 1 topic, 2 topics. You're welcome to choose depending on, I don't think there are any in these courses, are there? Perhaps no, just for international students, offshore as well as the onshore ones at the moment. So if you happen to be an international student that is not able to come to Australia at the moment, please feel free to contact us and we can give you some advice, because I do believe there are some guidelines that we've been given about the load that you have to be enrolled in. Now, so if you do decide to enrol in anything from 13.5 units or 3 standard topics or more, you will get your full-time sticker on your card. It's sort of a full-time load, but a standard full-time load is 18 units. Okay, so from the course rule, you'll be able to see the different topic requirements. So for this one in particular, there is a component, and a lot of you that are in education degrees will have what do we call a double degree. So it will be Bachelor of Education with, so Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, something like that. Within them, there are quite a few different requirements like majors and minors, and they can get a little bit confusing. So make sure you do have a read through the course rule, and I will show you a study plan template in a moment just so you can refer to both of them, because they are both quite important. This one is sort of like the guidelines. The other one is, I guess, the timetable where you can write out where all your topics sit and plan for your study period. Okay, so if I scroll down here, there are topics listed here, and they don't state that they are, but these ones are called core topics. So if you see something on your course rule called a core topic, that is something that is a compulsory topic that you need to complete within your course. So for education, there are some very common core topics that will be education topics. And all topics have 4 letters to start with that are usually to do with the area of study that they're in, and then 4 numbers to identify them. Following this, you may have some option topics, which would be a list of topics that you can choose from, or if it's an elective, it's basically you can choose from anything that you like to an extent. So I will show you how to select them. If we click on major, for this course in particular, students have to choose a major and a minor. And here in the course role, it lists what majors you can choose from. So if you click on the major that you are interested in, you can see which topics are required. Now this is where you do need your study plan, your study planner or your study plan template, whatever you want to call it, because as you can see, it sort of lists a number of topics. You think sort of year 1, year 2, year 3, but it's quite important to look at your study planner because it doesn't always fit like that. Elective topics. I'm just going to show you. I will just mention quickly as well, if you have a minor in your course, so you might hear the term major. If you're in secondary, you might also hear teaching major. If you have a minor, that's a few less topics, and you will get referred to a list such as this. And if I click on, say, drama, it might not specifically say what to enroll in for a minor. It sort of only speaks about the major. So like I said before, have a look at this and have a look at your study plan template, which I'll show you in a moment, so you can see how to plan it out. Before I do that, I'm just going to quickly speak about elective topics. Now, where does this one take us? It doesn't. So to get to elective topics, you can save it as a quick link. That's not going to help you very much now. So go to my course, and again, you can also just Google it. Flinders Timetable, it should come up with it. If we go to this first one here, this is the index for viewing course rules. But if we click on search the timetable, and do you guys search topics or timetable when you're looking for electives? Timetable? So timetable is a good one because what you can do is, oopsie, you can do whether you want to be doing, whether you, Belair. We have classes in Belair apparently. If you want to be doing it at, here on campus, or if you want to be doing it online, externally, and you can also select the semester. So say you have a spot in your study plan that requires an elective topic in semester 2, you can click semester 2, and how about we want it to be online? Subject area, well, you can select from almost anything provided you've met prerequisites. So what I'm going to do is show you what I mean by prerequisites. You may have an interest in midwifery. There's probably nothing online. I wouldn't, oh no, there you go, there are. See, this topic has prerequisites, which means you have to have met this criteria to be in the topic. You need admission into Bachelor of Midwifery. So unfortunately, for those of you that are, oops, you can't see that topic, can you? Because I opened in a new link. Sorry guys, it's only going to let me share one screen at a time, and it pops up into a new link. How are the questions coming? Oh, we're having a few technical difficulties in our chatting team. Apparently, it's
If people send us individual messages, we might not be able to get back into the end of the session just because we've got so many questions.
All right, we're getting lots and lots of questions, which is fantastic. Keep them coming. However, if we don't happen to get back to you in the chat function, we will be taking your details down and we'll email you back. So just sit tight, and we promise that we'll address it as soon as we can. Okay, I'm going to just show you another course, and this time we're going to go to the Master of Social Work. So here, course rule index, scrolling down, find social work. Now the course rule did change slightly from last year to this year, which is why there are two. Click on this year. And depending on which one you're doing, majority of you are probably doing graduate entry, which is a 2-year degree if you're in the Master of Social Work. And I'm going to show you some of the topic details. So if we click on the topic link here, this is a typical topic page that you will see. So you've got the topic title. This one here is the topic coordinator. So if you need to speak to someone regarding the topic, that would be the contact person. The year, units, as I mentioned before, a standard topic is usually 4.5 units. Contact, now this gets a little bit tricky when you read this contact part because it does depend on whether you're internal, external, online, and I know that varies greatly. Since COVID, the whole world's changed, particularly the way education is delivered. I think the days of having 400 people crammed into a lecture theatre with notepads has long gone. So if you see lecture, it's likely that lectures are going to be pre-recorded and you can watch them in your own time or at a particular time. Now from here you can see prerequisites, as I mentioned before, admission into Master of Social Work, so anyone that wants to do this topic has to be in this course. But there's also a lot of prerequisites are other topics. So you won't be able to do, say, a full topic unless you've completed this, and this from previous years. That's just to make sure that you're sufficiently prepared for that topic. We don't really want you to enter a topic that you haven't, pre-learnt the required knowledge to successfully fulfill the requirements of it. And topic description, you can see the learning aims and outcomes. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, this is where we see the availabilities. So when you do log into the student system, which I thought I was showing you before, but my screen apparently wasn't sharing, where you go into enroll, if you select a topic, you will have a few options to choose from. So it's likely that you'll have a drop-down bar which will have these different options. And just pay close attention to what they say. We've recently had some extra availabilities, mainly due to COVID, for some online versions. Bedford Park is the suburb that the university's in. But just make sure next to it, it says internal if you want to be studying on campus. Because I think Bedford Park, there's only Bedford Park internal, isn't there? Is that right? Okay, so if it says Bedford Park, it's internal. However,
that topic might have some online classes like lectures.
Yeah. But if there are lectures, there could be some online components as well. It's a little bit confusing because then next one, it says Flinders online. So just have a good look at that last word and see what it says. If we click on it, it will actually show you what classes are available if it's internal. So this one here, lecture, there is a lecture. However, it's probably available online as well, and that is going to be standard for that's standard for almost every class, isn't it? If it's a lecture, every topic if it's a lecture, sorry. Tutorials, and generally you select one of them, but it will tell you when you go to register in classes which ones to register in. If you select an online version or an external version, there's likely to be no classes to register in. Okay, another thing I was going to show you was your study planner. Now if we go back, I'm just going to see if there's still a link to it. Yep, so if you go to the course rule, here on the left-hand side, there should be a link to study planner. If we click on this, we'll take you to this page. You do have to search for it. So if we're going to continue with social work, let's go to the Bachelor this time. Oh, that's handy. Let's go. Let's bring in our psych students. Bachelor of Behavioural Science. So this is an example of a study planner, and I really encourage you all to either print one off or have one saved on your computer and type in your topics from your course rule. I know it's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle sometimes, but we do preload most of the topics in if they're core. So for example, this is a Bachelor of Behavioural Science Psychology. So here we've listed everything in years, but we've got semester 1 at the top, semester 2 underneath. And this is for a standard full-time load, which would be 18 units per semester. So we've listed the core topics. So in semester 1, you get to choose an elective, and you also get to choose a first year topic from your major. And just a little tip for the psych students, whether you're in the Bachelor of Psychology Honours or the Bachelor of Behavioural Science Psychology, it's sort of listed in your course rule that your first major is psychology. So when it says second major, it's actually referring to your major that's the major other than psychology. It can confuse some people, confuse me a little bit. So once you've figured out what topics you want to be doing, I'd put them in here, and it's easy to figure out what you're doing. But if we want to go back to, so this list all the way through, if we want to go back to course rules, oh my goodness, and I'm going to select the same one. So let's go to, just went straight past it, Behavioural Science. It should match up. So if we go down here to, see, I call it a major sequence in psychology. So think that as your major 1, first major. So we've listed 4 topics, and then it goes into year 2. But if we go down here, it starts talking about your majors, and then at the bottom, plus elective topics to make up 108 units. So you're going to need to pick a major and also elective topics. So for example, here we're going to pick Criminology. This one's pretty easy to follow because it says you have to do these 2 year 1 topics, these year 2 topics. You can select an additional year 2 topic. But if we're just planning for the first year, we know that we have to do Crim 1101, Crim 1102. So what we would do is if we'd go back to your study plan, and then we'd put those topics in, so you know which ones you're going into. If we want to click on these topics, again, you get the additional information. If you're not quite sure what semester they're in, at the bottom of the page, this is the top, remember we've got the title, the topic coordinator, a little bit more information about the course, the topic, and then right at the bottom here you can see the timetable. Actually, I should mention here, this is where it says when it's being held. So it looks quite small. S1 is semester 1. If it says S2, it's obviously semester 2. You might also see, like we said before, NS1, which means it's in the first half of the year, but it's a little bit outside of the norm. And then same with semester 2. It could be NS2, a little bit different. Now, have we got anything else in particular that we've been having questions asked about? A million things. How long have we got? What I might quickly talk about is just a few more things that commonly come up. So things about leave, deferral, changing majors and minors, that sort of thing. might touch on placement, because I know some of you are probably considering that as well. Let's go back home. And I might just stop sharing for the moment. Okie dokie. So if you've got an offer and you don't really want to start straight away, you can defer your offer. If it's through SATAC or somewhere like that, you can actually say that you want to defer. Or if you decide to take this semester off, so semester 1 and start semester 2, that's usually fine. You can usually just not enrol for semester 1, enrol for semester 2, and it will keep your place. I don't think there'd be any situations where that would be a problem. Master Ed maybe. Yeah, that should be fine. You're welcome to take leave during your course. I don't think these courses have very many time restrictions. I think social work has just got a 10-year one. But if you want to take leave, that's certainly fine. You're welcome to take leave for 1 semester without advising us. However, if you want to take a year off, you can put in something called a leave of absence, which is just through an Ask Flinders request, which I'll show you in a moment, and that will hold your place. So that's something that you're welcome to do as well. If you start, if you're in a degree that has a major or education degree with maybe a major and a minor or a couple of majors, and you decide after a semester or a year that that's not the major for you, that's no problem. Generally, come and speak to us and we'll figure it out with you. We really would prefer you to be doing what you want to be doing rather than, I guess, enduring something that you're not interested in. We will allow you to change to some extent. However, just be aware that if you change and your topics that you're undertaking are a little bit different to the normal course rule, it may make you, it may add to the time that it takes to complete your degree. But just come chat to us, we'll figure it out. Do our best to figure it out. We do get asked as well about changing degrees. So if you decide that you're in the whole degree that's not right for you, which is completely fine, sometimes you have an idea of what something is and then you decide it's not quite right for, this time in your life, or it's not the right skill set for you, then absolutely you can change it. It's better than doing something that you don't want to be doing. Come chat to us. We'll also have a chat to the admissions team, because we'll have a look at things like the entry requirements for the other course you want to get into, and the best way to get into it. If you have studied some study before in another course, there may be an option for some credit transfer. However, that depends on the courses, whether it's comparable, that sort of thing.
Just let them know that some courses you can do internal transfers.
Yes.
Whereas others they're not.
That's a really good point. We do have an internal transfer process. So if you are a current student, which you are at the moment, if you go into the student system, there is a tab that says My Application, and you can click on that and you can apply for internal transfer. However, there are some courses that do not allow internal transfer just based on the competitiveness, how few places there are to get into the course. So I think an example would be Psychology Honours is probably one that you can't apply for internally. Yeah, so you would have to go back through SATAC. So just keep that one in mind.
Also the fact that if we are successful in transferring to a degree, that doesn't mean that they will automatically go to the subsequent year.
That's what I was just about to say. So it can be a little bit disheartening sometimes when you've completed, say, a full year of study, you change your mind and start something else. If you could get credit for what you've done, that would be fantastic, but sometimes it doesn't transfer over. So I kind of like to use a book analogy. So if you start a novel and say you get to chapter 3 and you decide you don't like the book, so you're going to start a new book, you wouldn't open the new book and start reading it from chapter 3. you'd have to go back and start from the start. So you think of it the same way. If it's the same similar sort of topics, then there is a chance we can credit it over. But if you if there's nothing that we can credit, you will have to consider starting back from the start. Okay, so where to get some more advice? How many of you have put in an Ask Flinders request? Okay, so back to the students page, the new students page. Again, you can either Google this or you're welcome to go to the students homepage from flinders.com.edu.au. I'll send them through the links through later. And there's a quick link here, Ask Flinders. Now, it may, for some of you that have had a request in for a little while, seem like the not so quickest way to receive support, but it is, trust us. We also get a good record of it, and it can go to the correct person as quickly as possible. The whole university is linked to this, basically. So here you can find a whole lot of frequently asked questions that might even answer your question. Otherwise, if you've got something specific, so for example, there's a topic that you're having trouble enrolling into and you can't figure out why, what you can do is click in Request Support, and it will log you through Okta, which I thought I was showing you before, but I might have to show you again in a moment. Select what area. So here, I'm going to go enrollment, and my enrollment area, credit. So I've done a diploma in community services, and I think that relates to social work. And you can keep going through, come to our college. If you're not sure of what college you're in, just do not sure. Otherwise, you are in the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work. So you go from here, and basically it will come through to you in an email, to your student email, and it will be usually one of us if it's relating to enrolments, and we'll get to it as quick as possible. Sometimes we do have to consult further, so if it's say a prerequisite waiver request, so if you think you can't get into a topic because you haven't done the prerequisite topic but you've done study beforehand somewhere else, we will need to put it on to the usually to the topic coordinator. So if you're waiting a little bit longer, it's usually because we're waiting for some higher level approval. If you need help physically enrolling, so if you want someone to shadow you in how to do the enrolment process, since COVID, we've unfortunately not got the physical location of Flinders Connect anymore, but they are offering a service where you can, if you provide them, I presume it's your FAN, or your student ID, they can actually go in and shadow you through the student system and help you to actually enrol. So that's called Flinders Connect. You can also give them a call. To find their details, I'm just going to go back home. Oops, that opens a new tab. Quick links. Current students. Here are some of the key dates that I sort of mentioned before. Have a look at them. They're very handy. Here, Flinders Connect. So give them a call, ask Flinders, and then there's some more information there if you need it. This page is actually really cool because they've also links to support services, which, oh good, didn't open a new tab. Because we do have heaps of other support that you might know about, including health and counselling, and there's financial support, careers, heaps of stuff. So spend some time going through this website. Actually, I've done it recently, and I'm actually quite surprised about how much stuff there is. Like, there's meditation and some actually like pretty cool things that are on offer. There's also the other thing, and you will find out a little bit more about this sort of stuff if you come to orientation. But if not, there's also, and I know I'm probably overwhelming you with different links and whatnot, but there is the student, is it still called a student union? What are they called? Student Association. Flinders Connect. And they can actually give you a hand with, I guess, your rights and that sort of thing as a student. They can help with if you get, for example, a grade that you don't think adequately, gives you the grade that you deserve. They can help you appeal that sort of thing. They have expertise on policy. They can help you if you maybe need some cash at the last minute for hardship, that type of thing. They're very, very handy in that way. So FUSA, you'll hear about them a little bit more hopefully, and certainly use them as much as you can. You don't need to pay for a membership at all. Well, any other common questions that are coming up, guys?
Offshore Master Social Work students, I will contact them all individually.
Yes. Have we got many international students that are currently offshore? We do have a few of you, I know. It must be very frustrating trying to figure out what you can actually enroll in when you're not able to attend on campus. What we are doing at the moment, in particular, we've got quite a few Master of Social Work students that are offshore, and we have just had topic coordinators established where the topics are available on campus or online. So we will be providing you all with a study plan, I suppose. We will be contacting you all individually very, very soon. So please don't think we've forgotten about you. You are right there, right in the centre of what's going on at the moment. We're definitely thinking of you. And that goes for anyone that's been stuck in state as well, or even at home here. Anything else? Anyone has any particular questions or want to hear about? Oh, placements. I never spoke about placements, did I? Now, you might not have a placement. Who does? Oh, almost everyone except for maybe psychological science and behavioural science, I suppose. You will find out most of your what's needed when you start. So don't think there's anything that you need to be worrying about too much now. Social work. If you're in a Master of Social Work, normally your first placement is in the second of the year for your first one. If you're in education, you start off with just some lecture series in the first year, and then you have, say, 5 days that you go and visit, but you don't do a massive placement, as in like a big 4-week block placement until year 3. But yeah, again, we learn about that when we start. I think sport, health, physical activity, we've got an internship type placement that occurs in your 3rd year, and psych, I don't even know if psych does it until clinical psych, I'm not sure. Yeah, no. There is a website that you can have a look at to find out some more information. Well, I'm just going to Google it. Placement. And trust me,
Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me and see me? Sorry, we've just realised it's hit 3 o'clock and we think Sophie got kicked out because she was in charge. But we're still here. Not sure if you heard what Sophie was saying right at the end there. She was just saying that topic information on flow, information about textbooks, we've got questions about that. All of your topics will appear on Flow a week before the topic starts. So if it's a semester 1 topic, it will show up probably on the 22nd of February, which is the week before classes start on the 1st of March. If it's a non-semester topic, then you can see the date that the topic starts. That information will be on the topic information page, and the topic will show up on your Flow a week earlier than that. Now on Flow, you'll get all the information you need about textbooks, readings. There's nothing that you need to do before this class starts, but you'll see everything about your assessment. You'll be able to start planning out your full semester, when everything's going to be due. If you do have any burning questions that you need answered before you get Flow access for a topic, you can contact the topic coordinator. Now on the topic information page, at the top of the page, there'll be the title of the topic, and then you'll see a person's name, and it might say Dr. Paul Williamson. That's the name of the topic coordinator for that topic, and you can contact them individually through their email. You can use the Flinders University staff directory, which you can see on the Flinders website, to find their email, and you can contact your topic coordinators individually if you need to, but please note they might not get back to you straight away because obviously they're getting everything ready for the topic to start in a couple of weeks. So try to be patient. You'll get all that information on Flow. Find out whether you need any textbooks or if there's anything online that you need to access, any readings, and that's where you'll get that kind of information. Now, there have been lots of questions. We've tried to answer all of them. If we haven't got back to you, please note that we will keep replying to messages for the next couple of minutes, but it is after 3 o'clock now, so we're probably going to have to wrap this up. A recording of this session, although hopefully it's worked all right, a recording of this session will be sent out to students probably tomorrow or Monday, so that anyone who missed this session can watch along. If you've sent us an individual message, we will try to get back to you later today. If you had a question and you're not sure whether we caught it or it was really specific and we didn't get back to you about it, please put in an Ask Flinders request, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. I only say that because obviously lots of you have just used your first names in your chat, so we might not know exactly who you are, and even if we go through the thousands of students in our college, we might not be able to find you. We might not know which Matthew you are, for example. So please put an Ask Flinders request, because that way we know exactly who you are, what your degree is, and we can help you with your questions. Sayers just telling me something.
Just give us a little bit of time.
Yes, yeah. So if you've already put in an Ask Flinders request, please don't submit a second one and a third one. All of the requests go into the system. If your question was about something to do with fees, for example, it's already been sent off to the staff in student finance. If it was a question about your enrolment, it's already gone into the queue for myself or Saya or Caroline or Sophie to help you. We do have hundreds, if not thousands, of requests coming through at the moment, and I promise you we are not ignoring you. We are trying to get back to everyone as quickly as we can. I understand that it can be very stressful while you're waiting for us to get back to you, but we just ask for a little bit of patience. We're also obviously sometimes having to send your questions off to academics and waiting for them to get back to us. So please try not to send multiple requests in. The best way is just to have that one request. You can actually log in to your Ask Flinders account and update information if you need to give us some more information or ask another question. to that one request, but just leaving the one request per person is the best way to get us to get back to you as quickly as possible. So we will wrap this up. We're going to turn off the camera and the mic, but we are going to just keep the chat going for a few more minutes so that we can try and answer a few more questions. Thank you all so much for coming along today. There's Sophie's got her camera going again, and we really hope that you have had some of your questions and fears and concerns allayed today. We will send out another email as well that includes some of the links that Sophie went through today. You might not have been able to catch all of them on the screen. So some of those important websites, we'll send those out as an email so that you can save that email and then always refer back to those important websites when you need. But thank you guys all so much for coming along today, and we will see you or hear from you or speak to you online very soon. So thanks guys. See you later.